Winning sometimes seems so easy. For those born with the right genes, gifted the right facilities, blessed with good health and fitness, victory can seem almost assured. But for many athletes, there are hidden obstacles, some of their own making. Others can feel the pressure of the intense spotlight. The trick is fighting back and dancing to the podium with style. The comeback is always sweet, and even sweeter when it's against the odds. It started with a photo on social media that went viral. A 6-year-old boy in Afghanistan playing football in the dirt, as he might have done every day. An improvised playing shirt, made from a plastic rubbish bag, tied together at the top and featuring the light blue and white stripes of Argentina. And the number 10 scrawled on the back, with the name Messi above it. Murtaza Ahmadi did it because he loved Lionel Messi, the all-time great forward of Barcelona and Argentine fame. In that, he was but one of millions. After all, Messi may be in the top handful of footballers who ever strapped on a boot, a winner of 5 Ballon d'Ors, 10 La Liga championships, 4 Champions League titles, a whopping 34 trophies for Barca. But the photo touched a particular chord when it appeared on one of Messi's fan sites early in 2016. At FIFA's organising committee for the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, they made it their mission to find Murtaza in Johori, in rural Afghanistan. 2 signed shirts arrived in the mail, with help from the UNICEF organisation, one of Lionel Messi's preferred charities.
What is your name?
Messi.
Messi?
But the shirts were only the start of the story. FIFA wanted to put the boy and his hero in the same space. As it happened, Barcelona was heading to Doha in Qatar to play a friendly against Al Ahly of Saudi Arabia in December of the same year.
He is very happy after receiving the shirts. He insists on meeting Messi.
The meeting finally happened at Doha's International Stadium. 6-year-old Murtaza came onto the field as a mascot and met Messi before the game, running to the great Argentine's arms when he was meant to leave the field. FIFA's World Cup organising committee called the photo the image the world wanted to see. Alas, stories out of war-torn Afghanistan don't always end happily. Murtaza's family is part of the Hazara ethnic group, and they were targeted by Taliban insurgents after the story became public. They were driven out of Afghanistan, settling in neighbouring Pakistan. Doubtless, Murtaza still loves Messi. And Lionel Messi? Well, he's still a hero. After the break, Messi the man and the legend.
Que no lo esperaba tan así,
The truth is that I didn't expect it to be this way. It surprised me that people treat me in this manner, and that I could bring a smile out of people who have gone through such difficult times.
Lionel Messi is much more than a footballer. His willingness to give back is just as legendary. His foundation has built a children's cancer centre in Barcelona. And when 50,000 Haitians lost their homes in an earthquake in 2010, Messi made an appearance in the Caribbean country to inspire others to help.
We have to work a lot and value Haiti and help in everything that is happening, because we need to do a lot of work to change all that I saw. Haiti has practically nothing, and it will take a lot for Haiti to rise again.
The best way to describe him is grounded. Lionel Andres Messi Cuccittino was born in Rosario, in central Argentina. At 13, he had been diagnosed with growth hormone disorder and was just over 4 feet tall. But he was also a brilliant footballer. Trialling for a fortnight with Barcelona's youth academy in 2001, aged 13, he ended up remaining in Spain. The club paid for his treatment, consisting of injections of human growth hormone into the legs, which he administered himself. And the rest is history. Messi was never big, just 5'7", or 170 centimetres. But he was a genius over the football from the start, winning a FIFA Youth World Championship in 2005, where he scored 6 goals, and an Olympic gold medal in Beijing in 2008, where he created the game winner against Nigeria.
As an Argentinian, I like Maradona for what he has achieved. He became the greatest footballer in the world. And then I like Ronaldinho, who is very close to me now, and I've always liked Pablo Aimar. I used to watch him when he played for River Plate. These are basically the players that I admire.
Messi has never left Barcelona, and by the time Barca won the Spanish title yet again in 2019, he was also captain and a winner of an astonishing 10 La Liga championships. Ironically, he never regarded himself as only a forward. But he developed an ability to score goals like no other. He would become the all-time leading goal scorer for Argentina, with Barca in La Liga and the Champions League. In one Champions League game against Bayer Leverkusen in 2012, he scored 5 goals.
Sí, creo que sí. Bueno, si bien siempre dije que no me consideraba un
I think I have improved as a forward, even though I've always said I don't consider myself a forward. But then I started to score many goals and to win all these individual awards. I think I have grown both on and off the pitch. I have improved and incorporated new traits to my way of playing. And each day, I enjoy being a footballer more.
His 2012 calendar year was extraordinary, with 91 goals for Barcelona and Argentina, a record that surpassed the great Gerd Muller's previous landmark of 85. It was the pinnacle of a magnificent career that continues to this day. Through all his awards and his triumphs, Lionel Messi has retained a humility and a dignified quiet that endeared him to the public. When he married his childhood sweetheart, Antonella Reccuso, in 2017, he went back to Rosario for the ceremony.
Él siempre fue igual y nunca cambió, a pesar de
He has always been the same and never changed, despite everything he achieved in his life. He has always been the simple boy, the guy that grew up with me, with whom I used to play back in my childhood.
Es difícil de explicar los sentimientos porque a la vez es un sentimiento de fanatismo con un sentimiento de amistad y bueno.
Messi came from the nation that spawned the great Diego Maradona, wore the same number, and was also left-footed like his predecessor. He would come to be talked about in the same way. For years, there was a debate as to whether Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo, the great Portuguese player, was the best on the planet. In one stretch from 2008, they won 10 consecutive Ballon d'Or awards, 5 each, a streak only broken by Luka Modric of Croatia in 2018. The answer was purely subjective, and it depended whom you asked.
Messi would be, for me, the player I saw would be number one, 100%. That's me. We have to say that Cristiano Ronaldo is for sure in that as well, and all the rest we have to see. Yeah? My father always said it's Pelé. Didn't see Pelé live. I'm too young for that. But yeah, there are a lot of good players around there. But that's my ranking. Lionel is for me the best.
As with any player, he had his failures, notably in Argentine colours, where in 4 attempts he could not carry his nation to a FIFA World Cup victory. The closest he came was the final in 2014, where Argentina was overcome by Germany, frustrated by brilliant goalkeeper Manuel Neuer and beaten by Mario Götze's extra-time strike. After the 2016 Copa America, when he missed a penalty and Argentina lost its 3rd tournament final in succession, he quit international football. It is what I wanted more than anything, but it wasn't meant to be. I think this is it. Fans in Argentina were devastated, launching a social media campaign and protests in the streets of Buenos Aires.
I came here to Buenos Aires to be with all the people, to support Messi so that he comes back to Argentina. Messi cannot leave us. You cannot leave us, Messi.
Messi reversed his decision and came back for the 2018 World Cup. A victory for people power.
Since I was very little, I had to face a lot of sacrifice and effort because I had the dream of achieving success doing what I liked, which was football. I had to surmount so many things during that path. It was tough, but I never stopped dreaming on what I wanted to achieve, and I was lucky to make it.
He's had his difficulties, including a tax fraud case in 2017. Messi claimed that he had no knowledge of the tax evasion he was charged with, and ultimately was fined heavily by Spanish authorities. All of which goes to show that perfection is impossible. What's certain is that he is very close. After the break, England's all-time legend of football, Bobby Moore.
The golden symbol of international supremacy.
Only one Englishman has lifted the World Cup in almost a century, for what many people believe is the biggest sporting event in the world. Bobby Moore captained England to the 1966 victory at Wembley and wrote his name into the history books forever.
The greatest soccer game ever played in these islands.
While his career was so much more, it was his crowning glory. His fame is so secure that there is a statue depicting a defiant Moore, arms crossed, outside the stadium. The country that invented the game had never been farther than a quarter-final in 4 appearances prior to that tournament, played on home soil in July 1966.
The championship is theirs.
Needless to say, hopes were high. England had a great team, with striker Geoff Hurst, goalkeeper Gordon Banks, and Bobby Charlton, that year's Ballon d'Or winner. Plus, of course, Moore, a supreme defender for his country and for West Ham United in the English League. They were managed by Alf Ramsey, who'd been a legendary player at Tottenham Hotspur.
For me, during that period, the discipline that he brought to the table was, I would say, for me, he was the most powerful man and discipline I've experienced in my life. All the way through, we were a well-disciplined bunch of very, very good players, a real fantastic backbone, probably the best backbone I think we've ever had. And I think the discipline and the camaraderie was a very, very important integral ingredient of the success of the team.
Moore was just one of the heroes in the final against West Germany, played before more than 90,000 fans.
And he scores England's third.
Hurst scored a hat-trick of goals, the only man in World Cup final history to do so. But Moore had 2 assists in England's 4-2 win, secured in extra time. And analysis performed much later showed that his passes hit their mark an astonishing 93% of the time. Franz Beckenbauer, the great German, was but one of his contemporaries who knew precisely how good Bobby Moore was. He was one of the greatest defenders of all time. On World Cup final day, July 30, 1966, Moore went about proving it.
On his own.
His precision pass to Hurst for the 4th and clinching goal in extra time goes into the annals.
Great pass to me for the final goal, and so that's the thing I remember. And he was great at delivering a ball from back to front from club days in England, getting to the edge of the box and just thinking, I'm going to whack it as hard as I can. And if it goes beyond, I'm thinking, if it goes beyond the bar, beyond the sand, by the time the keeper gets it back, the game's going to be over. But as we all know, I mishit it and it flew in.
Bobby Moore died at 51 in 1993. He won an FA Cup and a UEFA Cup Winners' Cup at his beloved West Ham, where he is regarded as the best player in the history of the club. West Ham retired his number 6 shirt some years after his departure. He played 108 times for England, setting a record that stood until it was overtaken by goalkeeper Peter Shilton, while modern-day superstars David Beckham, Wayne Rooney and Steven Gerrard have since topped the number. He captained his country 90 times, equalling the record set by England's star of the 1940s and 50s, Billy Wright.
12 months ago.
He was named to FIFA's all-time World Cup team in 1994. Bobby Moore is an icon of the game, not just for a single moment when he lifted the Jules Rimet trophy, but for the bigger picture.
And all praise to West Germany.
It's not a bad way to be remembered. Coming up on Against the Odds, a manager who wrote his own piece of history, Claudio Ranieri.
We are in Champions League. We are in Champions League, man.
That was my next
Dilly din,
question.
dilly dong, come on. You forget, you speak about blah, 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 but we are in Champions League.
That's what my next
Come
question.
on, man.
How big an achievement for you?
Oh,
We
it's
can see what it means to you.
fantastic, fantastic.
Claudio Ranieri was already a well-known manager when he signed at lowly Leicester City in 2015. A man who had piloted some of the biggest clubs in the world. From Napoli to Juventus to Chelsea and Roma, he carried his particular idiosyncrasies to more than a dozen clubs, winning a few smaller titles, but never surviving especially long. But Ranieri has something that sets him apart. What Ranieri did with Leicester City in the English Premier League in the 2015-16 season put him in elite company for managerial achievement. It was the American artist Andy Warhol who penned the line that is so often quoted when it comes to the concept of fleeting triumph. In the future, everyone will be world famous for 15 minutes. And so it turned out for Claudio Ranieri, for a whole glorious season. Leicester City was no one's idea of a super team. In fact, the club was only 7 years removed from the third tier of British football. It had never won a Premier League title, or its forerunner, the League, in 132 years of existence. But Ranieri came to Leicester, and the club began winning. With his quirky ways, he drew the team and its supporters together.
Have you told them you'll take them out for a meal once they get that clean sheet? Is that genuine?
Sorry?
Have you told them you'll take them out for a meal?
Yeah, I told them. The clean sheet, I pay a pizza to everybody. But I think they wait, I improve. Okay, the pizza and hot dog. Okay, come on.
Leicester was on top of the table by November, lost the lead momentarily, then with 5 consecutive wins in March, made the unthinkable possible. The club was a 5,000-to-1 outsider at the start of the season. The Foxes' payroll was around £48 million, 17th on that particular list, less than a quarter of wealthy Chelsea's figure. But by May, Leicester had only Tottenham Hotspur to worry about, and the players gathered at striker Jamie Vardy's house to watch Spurs on TV. Anything less than a win for them, and the title belonged to Leicester. Around the world, people watched the miracle happen. They included an emotional Gary Lineker, a Leicester City legend and former England captain. "I can't think of anything that surpasses it in sporting history," he said. Leicester won the title by 10 points, with 23 wins, 12 draws and only 3 defeats that season. Among the heroes were Vardy, who had his career best season with 24 league goals, and captain Wes Morgan, who took the EPL trophy back to Leicester to show it off. Ranieri was beside him, of course, and the Italian manager who created the miracle won the prestigious Laureus Award, as well as the City of Rome's Lupa Capitolina Award in his home city.
It's amazing. Leicester made something terrific last season together. A team who, for 132 years without winning and win the title in Premier League, was something fantastic.
To 2019, only 6 teams have won the EPL title since the competition was formed in 1992, and they include some of the most famous in the world. But they also include little Leicester City. Of course, not all stories have a happy ending. 9 months after winning the title, and with Leicester struggling through the 2016-17 season, Ranieri was sacked again. It was not an unfamiliar feeling for him, although it shocked some of the fraternity.
Somebody that wrote the most beautiful history of the Premier League, somebody that probably would deserve the Leicester Stadium to be named Claudio Ranieri and this sect.
Claudio Ranieri packed his bags and went back to Europe. He managed Nantes in France, then returned to the Premier League to steer Fulham for a time, then made a homecoming to his beloved Roma in Italy. But it is 2016 that he will be remembered for. People will be talking about it for a long time, maybe even forever. Now that's a legacy.